Hi girls. Today we're going to learn about a set of commands that we use in programming called conditionals. Okay, so often you need a program to make a decision based on variables and their values. So for instance, if we look at our Photo Liker app that you guys should have completed or about to complete, maybe on our Photo Liker app, we would like it to play a sound when it reached 20 likes. Okay, and I'm just kind of making this up as an example. So if we wanted our Photo Liker app to maybe when you reach 20 likes, it played this sound, okay, we could do that with a conditional. And a conditional statement is an if statement. So here's the code that you guys have in your Photo Liker app. Don't get into your Photo Liker app right now. We're just going to look at this code. So if you look at the up button for your Photo Liker, first thing you did was you said likes equals likes plus 1, right? And if we wanted to play a sound when we hit 20 likes, we could add an if statement right here that says if likes equals 20, play the sound. So then when it's running, if likes was equal to 20, so if we had our likes variable, right, and think of that as like a baggie, and we're adding to it every time it clicks. So like it was 18, then somebody would click and it'd be 19, then it would click again and it hit 20. So when it hit 20 and it ran this if statement, it said if likes equals 20, so this would be true, then this sound would play. Okay, if it wasn't true, then it would not play any of this commands and it would just go right to setting the property of sending likes to the screen. Okay, so a conditional gives us commands that will play if a condition is true, but will not play if it's not true. Okay, so when we think about what an if statement needs, an if statement, you will now, when you begin to code.org activities after this video, you'll have a whole new set of commands in your app lab. They're called control commands, and this if statement will be one of them. So the pieces of an if statement are as follows. So there'll be a little place to add code right after your if, and that is called a comparison operator, and it is all the operators that will return a true or a false. Okay, whenever something returns a true or a false, or can only have a true or false as its value, those are called Boolean values. So I'll talk more about what the word Boolean means later on. But just know when you think about a Boolean, it means that the only possibilities are true and false. So if you look at these comparison operators over here, all of these will return only a true or a false. Now, this double equals, I call it double equal, or you can call it equals equals, but it is testing two values to see if they're equal, okay? We know in computer programming, if we look back up here at this likes equals, the regular equal sign, just one equal sign, is meant to assign a value, right? So when we say likes equals likes plus 1, it adds 1 to likes and puts it in the likes variable. So the one equal sign has a role. So the double equals is how you use to test if something is equal to each other. So for instance, if I, as an example of this, if I said 3 equals 2, that would return a false value because it is a comparison operator and it's checking to see if these two are equal, and they're not. So similar, if I said 5 equals 5, that would return a true. Just in the same way that I could use like this comparison operator to say like 3 less than 7, and that would return a true. So these are all, they're called comparison operators, and when you put numeric values in them, they will return true or false. So those are the types of commands or pieces that you put inside this if statement that will return a true or false. If it returns a true, then any commands you put in here will run, and if it returns a false, then it won't run any of those commands, and processing would pick up right past the if statement. Okay, so our comparison operators are equals, equals, not equals, so that exclamation point means not, so this represents not equal. This represents greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. So all the kind of symbols we use to compare values. Okay. So for instance, if we look at when you use those when you put those comparison operators in an if statement, it returns a true or false. Another type of if statement is the if-else statements. So let's say we wanted to, if you hit 20 likes, we wanted to play a fun sound, and if it didn't equal 20 likes, we wanted to play something negative. Okay, so then we could use another conditional called an if-else statement. So what this means is if this is equal to 20, it will play one sound. Otherwise, or else, it would play another sound, a negative sound. So in an if-else statement, this statement would run if the Boolean is true, if it returns true, and this command would run if the statement wasn't true. Okay. Another variation of an if statement is an if-else if. So again, it really is exactly how it appears in the English language, where we say if this first one's true, this would play, else if this one's true, this one would play. If neither of them are true, nothing plays. Okay, so if neither of them were true, processing would just pick up where it left off, or at the end of all the if statements. Okay, so we have an if that just tests one condition and plays something or not, or executes commands or not. We have an if-else where if the condition is true, it plays something, and otherwise does something else. Or an if-else if where you're giving it several conditions. Okay. Now I'm going to have you guys listen to the code.org explanations for if and else if, because they are actually, she is really very helpful in her explanation, even more so than this one. Okay, so when this video ends, I want you guys to listen to the 3 code.org videos that are listed in OneNote.